Dedicated to the Internet. I'm your host, Blake.
I'm Chris, and there's no Sam Cam again. Sam, we already talked about it. Concussion, broken nose.
Yeah, rip
Sam. Just rip Sam, guys. We're hoping he can be back later this week. But yeah, the schedule this week, guys. We have today's episode, and then coming out Wednesday night will be the fantasy football episode, and then Thursday will be the week's preview, and hopefully the weekend, maybe Monday, we are going to do a special guest episode again.
Yes,
hopefully
trying to get a special guest.
Yep. But first, I want to talk about fantasy pickups this week.
Yes, biggest.
We're going to talk about one, but the fantasy special will be up on Wednesday.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about one fantasy pickup. You guys should probably look into Wayne Gallman for the New York Giants. Played very well this week on their big win against the Eagles, and overall, he's. I wouldn't say he's a great replacement for Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
And if you have Saquon, Wayne Gallman should be a guy you should basically
right now,
pick.
what Wayne Gallman has shown is he's a flex, maybe RB2 at this point, depending if your league size. But he's looked good. I think he's a startable player at this point.
Yes, absolutely.
Injury news.
A lot of injuries this week. A lot of big injuries this week.
The big one that a lot of people were disappointed to hear about was well-liked left tackle for the Rams, Andrew Whitworth. The injury looked really bad on the field, but it ended up just being I think it was MCL sprain.
Yeah, MCL sprain.
He'll miss 6 to 8 weeks. The 37-year-old he's old.
Yeah, he's one of the guys no one dislikes.
Everyone likes him. Everyone loves him. He's a fighter. He's always been there. He's their 5-star captain on the Rams. He's going to be missed, but it sounds like he's going to try his absolute best to make it back for the season, to get back for the playoffs.
And another big injury, Drew Brees out for projected 2 to 3 weeks on a couple broken ribs and a collapsed lung on a big hit against the 49ers.
Yep.
He took a huge hit. It was, me personally, I think it was a legal hit, but they flagged it, of course. I think they called roughing the passer.
Yep.
And it looked like a clean hit, but they probably just called it because Drew Brees got hurt, but it sucks to see him out.
Another huge injury coming out today was Nick Boyle's done for the season.
Yep.
He is you guys may not know him, he's a humongous piece for that Ravens offense.
Huge piece
he
for the
is
run game.
team. He's a distraction for Mark Andrews. He creates blocks for the runs. He's like another fullback. They've got two fullbacks for Ricard. They do such a good job of him. And good news on the Zach Ertz front. He's designated to come off IR this week.
Yes, that's big for anyone in fantasy football.
Okay, so player of the week, we gave it to Big Ben Roethlisberger. Big Ben was able to throw 333 passing yards with 4 touchdowns, 2 to Claypool, 1 to Johnson, and 1 to Juju. Fantastic job from him. Absolutely great job.
Ben played insane, coming off a pretty bad, I wouldn't say a pretty bad game against the Dallas Cowboys a week before. And Big Ben has now entered the MVP candidacy.
Yeah.
And that's big because as every week we're seeing Russell Wilson slowly fall out of the MVP candidacy and other players start to come in, for example, like Dalvin Cook, Kyler Murray, Ben Roethlisberger now. And who knows? No one even knows. Like, for example, at this time last year, the MVP was almost certain it was going to be Lamar Jackson at this point. Now it's uncertain. I think this year was going to be a very good MVP candidacy when it comes down to it. We don't know who's going to win.
But the big thing that people talk about Ben is that this team was 8-8 last year.
Yes, they were
7-9. Now, with Ben back, they're 9-0. About to be 10. Playing the Jacksonville Jaguars next week, which we'll get into in a second. But yeah, he is the player of the game this week. Player of the week. Top of the week, we go back to the Steelers. We're talking the wide receiver core attacking about Ben Roethlisberger.
Yes, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you know me, I predicted the Steelers. I knew they were going to be nuts this season. They have one of the most underrated wide receiver cores in the entire NFL. Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers do a great job when it comes to drafting wide receivers. They know what they're doing. Best in the business when it comes to drafting wide receivers.
Right now, the Steelers really have 6 offensive targets. They have wide receiver 1, probably Juju, 2, Claypool, 3, Johnson, 4, Ray McCloud, 5, James Washington. Probably the best 5th-string wide receiver you can find in the NFL right now. And then tight end, Eric Ebron. That is 6 people I want to throw to, if I'm going to be honest. That's such a great set for the veteran Ben Roethlisberger, and he knows how to handle them. So the thing is, what we're going to talk about fantasy related to these guys. They are all, I think at this point, Juju is a must start.
Yep.
Every week, Juju is Ben's main guy when it comes down to that game-winning drive, those game-winning big plays. He's to Juju.
Yep. Juju is with the Steelers bringing in Chase Claypool. Juju is returned back into the slot position, which he was originally in his career in the beginning. With, for example, when they had Antonio Brown, and when Antonio Brown left, Juju ended up being the deep threat. It didn't work out as we saw last year, and now Juju's back to his normal
and
space.
He's very comfortable.
Very comfortable there,
comfortable there,
and he's doing well. So if you have, when it comes to Juju, Juju is a must start. He's probably averaging around 13 points a game. I wouldn't be surprised.
Probably a little
around
more
there.
than that.
And another one, Deontay Johnson, a very underrated receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers, also averaging probably around 13 points a game.
The risk for him is that he's injury prone.
Mm-hmm.
He can have things going on in a game. He can miss some snaps. But Deontay Johnson, when he's on the field, depending on the game, he is a big boomer bust player. But is he a flex? Maybe. Depending on your league, he's a possible flex. He's
an easy replacement if you have anyone on bye weeks.
Yep.
Easy.
Yes, not even a question. And then Claypool. Claypool is a guy whose stock is rising every single week. The consistency is starting to show. Ben loves to go with him on that deep.
As we saw yesterday, as we saw on Sunday versus the Bengals, Big Ben was when they were winning by so much. Big Ben and Claypool were just basically practicing their deep routes because Claypool is a huge deep threat. His size and speed and giving his size and speed, he's great for that.
With the Steelers. I think that with Claypool, you look at him. Juju's the clutch guy, game-winning guy.
Yeah.
Claypool is Ben's in the 20-yard line red zone.
Mm-hmm.
What does he want in the end zone? He's going to go with the big wide receiver, Claypool. He's going to go to Eric Ebron. Eric Ebron's another guy who's going to use that offense a lot.
Mm-hmm.
When Johnson's a guy, when everyone, he can get separation, he's going to go to him.
Yeah, Deontay Johnson's a guy who's very scary to get in open space. So that's what I've noticed about him.
Yeah.
His route running is very good. He's very shifty.
shifty.
And what I've noticed these past couple games, when he gets the ball and gets in open space, he's unstoppable. He's very hard to just track down because how fast he is and things like that.
And Claypool is also, at least once a game, Ben and him connect for at least a 40-yard pass every single game. That's another big thing. He's really not going to be a huge bust for us here. He's definitely a flex, maybe a wide receiver too at this point.
Yeah, and one more thing about the Pittsburgh Steelers wide receivers and what I like about them so much is just the fact that Ben is spreading the ball out so much. For example, if we look at teams, for example, like the Buccaneers, who have a lot of weapons, people didn't expect them fantasy-wise to do good because there is that many weapons. And in fact, and they're not doing very well fantasy-wise wide receivers for the Buccaneers. But for the Steelers, you have Big Ben. Each of these guys are getting like over 10, 13 points a game. And it's 3 different wide receivers on the same team. You don't see that often, and it's why this offense is so special.
And Washington's got some touchdowns. He's good when receivers are hurt. He's a guy you definitely pick up on.
Absolutely.
Waivers. And Ray McLeod, he's been used as a Swiss Army knife.
Yes.
They give him jet sweeps, all things like that. Claypool even runs the ball in the red zone, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's those plays. It's really cool how they've been using him. It's cool they used all 6 of these guys.
The Steelers' offense has been very, very creative this season. It's reminding me of, for example, the Chiefs' offense, even currently, not as explosive as the Chiefs' offense, but when it comes to play-wise, making special plays, reverses, things like that, they have the players for it, just like the Chiefs have, and it's something special to watch.
Oh yeah. Game recaps. Blake, you want to start us off?
Yes. Let's talk about our game of the week. The Bills-Cardinals. This game did not disappoint. Not at all. If you watched, you saw how it ended. Actually, no, you didn't have to watch. You saw it everywhere. Kyler Murray to DeAndre Hopkins, Hail Mary to end the game. He was triple covered, DeAndre Hopkins. Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, Tre'Davious White. The Buffalo Bills' 3 best players. Kyler Murray makes an amazing throw and touchdown. Ends the game.
That was a fantastic game to watch, and I wasn't able to watch it, unfortunately. But if for those of you who got the ability to watch that game, man, what a football game that was! Vintage Josh Allen came out for a little bit.
Yep.
Kyler Murray came out, and what a great job by Kyler.
Playing amazing.
Amazing game. Colts vs Titans. I said the Colts were gonna win this game.
Yeah. Kaz did too.
I think the Steelers ended up exposing the Titans.
Mm-hmm. Titans, me personally, I don't think the Titans are making the playoffs this season. That's a very hot take, but the Titans are falling. They're falling off. When you think about the AFC, there are teams who are sort of stepping it up. We have the Dolphins, for example. We can see them potentially make the playoffs, and when it comes to the Titans, we can see them fall out of the playoff bracket, and I just wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Texas Browns, not much to talk about here. Nick Chubb came back. Screw you, fantasy owners, he said.
Yeah.
Running
out of bounds at the 1 yard line.
And that was the most boring football game probably this season.
Mm-hmm.
Football team Lions. That was a good football game. The football team gave a little nudge at the end, but what ended up happening is the Lions ended up coming back from they got that last drive and they won the game. McLaurin stays hot, like Blake said. Great job from him this year. Alex Smith is using him as his number one, as he should. Mm-hmm. Bucks Panthers.
Close game in the beginning.
And not at the end. Antonio Brown had some fantasy production.
He had 66 yards for Antonio Brown. Mike Evans had a decent game. Chris Godwin also had a decent game, spreading the ball out with that Bucks wide receivers as they should. Very good. Eagles-Giants, very good game. Daniel Jones is looking hot after that game. Even though it is, once again, a division, NFC East division, it's at the end of the day, the Giants came out and played very well.
Yeah.
Great to see. Steelers-Bengals. Steelers fans should be very happy, and
we're happy.
They absolutely. Chris was nervous going into this game.
I was nervous in one of this
because the Bengals absolutely destroyed the Titans, and as expected, if you do that, then it's like okay, this is gonna be a good game. It wasn't.
No,
it wasn't. It was bad. It was backyard football for the Steelers.
Yeah, with the Steelers offense, but this is absolute blowout.
Jags Packers.
This was a nervous game for the Packers fans.
I don't know, for example, power rankings wise, this may bring the Packers down a little bit because the Packers did not play very well. This is probably the worst game of the season, to be honest, playing the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know, it was a close game. It was tied up in the end of the fourth quarter. So the Packers did come out with the win. Close game, not much something fans wanted to see.
No. Seahawks, Rams. The Rams, I said they're going to win. They won. That Seattle defense is such a weakness. Such a weakness. It's so bad for that team. And I don't think the Seattle team can be good, even with that amazing offense.
Yeah, and Seattle, that division right there are 3-6-3 teams. Seattle it's not looking very good for Seattle losing that game because Seattle can easily drop to third in their division. They can go from first to third in 1 week, basically. If they lose this next week and the Cardinals and the Rams both win this game, the Cardinals will bye this week. If the Rams win this game this week and the Seattle loses, they're going to drop, and it's not going to look good for them.
Blake, I know you're excited about this one.
Patriots, Ravens.
I was excited about this one. Steelers can clinch the division.
Steelers with their schedule coming up, and they basically clinched their division. They clinched it basically because their Steelers schedule coming up is looking very good for them. Even if they lose this week, even if they lose against the Ravens on Thanksgiving, it's not going to matter because they're still 2 games down. The Steelers are 2 games up.
We're 3.5 up.
Yeah, 3 games up, which is amazing. Patriots played out of their mind. Jacoby Myers, Rex Burkhead, Damian Harris. The Patriots offense is finally looking like an offense, and it's paying off. With these free agents, third-string wide receivers, this offense is looking hot, and I like it. Cam Newton is looking hot. Our defense, J.C. Jackson, 5 straight games with an interception. Our secondary, was played out of their mind this week. And great game. Patriots come out with the win in the rain.
Yep. Let's do. You guys practiced in those conditions, and it paid off.
Yep.
Dolphins Chargers, Blake.
Tua versus Justin Herbert. Great matchup. I'm not sure. Did the Dolphins? Yeah, Dolphins came out with this win. Dolphins are looking very good. Playoff contenders. And it's weird to think about how the Dolphins were just terrible last week. Had last year 5th pick last season when it comes to the draft wise. Now they're a playoff contender in the AFC.
It's crazy what that quarterback did.
Yeah, Tua is currently 3-0 starting, and I got to give props to Brian Flores to bench Fitzpatrick when they were winning. They were winning with Fitzpatrick. Very questionable. Me personally, I didn't think the Dolphins were going to do as good with Tua, and they proved me wrong.
I thought they were.
Yeah, you did.
Broncos Raiders blowout. Drew Lock, little banged up after this game. Raiders come out winning this game. Whoa, Derek Carr looked good. That run game also looked good. Josh Jacobs.
Yes, Josh Jacobs.
I almost called him Jacoby Jacobs. Josh Jacobs looked really good. 2 touchdowns, over 100 rushing yards. Fantastic game for him. Power rankings.
Yes.
This was a tough one. It was tough to make it this week.
So, number 1, of course, the Kansas City Chiefs. It's the Chiefs.
First 2 have not changed.
Their offense and their defense way too explosive to not. Number 2 is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh is climbing up. They're going to be number 2. Even number 1 if the Chiefs potentially fall off, but I don't see that happening. Pittsburgh is hot. most likely
And
going to go.
moving up from the 6th spot,
Yes.
we have these Saints. They are the best team right now in the NFC.
Absolutely. And with Drew Brees out, I still think it's going to be like last year with Teddy Bridgewater. They're still going to do fine.
Oh, no question. I agree with you, Blake.
And Saints, I'm excited to see what they do, how Winston does, to be honest.
Yeah. Next we got the Bucks. The Bucks moving up from the 9th spot.
Mm-hmm.
They got moved down after that blowout against the Saints, but they came back and they said, "Oh, we're still here. We're still a legit team. We just had a rough game."
And compared to the rest of these teams, I don't see any of these teams being better, especially how they played last week.
And
especially for 5, because of the Packers, for example. Packers did beat the Bucks, but the reason why the Packers are not at 4 is because how many points they let up and how bad they play against Jacksonville.
And moving on a slot after a rough game, even though they won, we have the Green Bay Packers.
Mm-hmm.
Almost losing to that tanking Jaguars team, I think.
That was close.
They needed that. Yep. And coming at number 6, we have the Tennessee Titans. After taking the L, they've been on the downfall.
Mm-hmm.
They've been on the downfall.
I can easily see them being out of the top 10 by the end of next week, to be honest.
Yeah.
If they lose this next week, they can probably be out of the top 10.
Moving down 4 slots. We have the
Yes.
Baltimore Ravens.
Baltimore Ravens.
If you lose that New England team right now, you're moving down.
Mhm.
You're moving down.
Until the Patriots really show how proven they are, losing to them is going to bring you down a little bit, because they are 3 and 5.
Yep.
4 whatever 3 and 5, 4 and 5. I'm not sure, but yeah, losing to them, especially being the Ravens, that's not a good look for them.
Yep. And moving down, making
Moving
their
up,
first
yeah.
experience,
Making their first top 10.
LA Rams.
The Rams. Yes, the Rams played very good. Their defense is looking hot. Their offense with all their weapons is doing really good, even without Todd Gurley.
There's so many
And
weapons there.
Of course, now they went to the top 10, 6
And
and
their
3.
defense is so good. If that
Mhm.
offense just works, the defense will stop.
And I want to talk about something real quick. Make it quick. Jalen Ramsey locked up DK Metcalf for 3 receptions for 26 yards. Amazing. I got to give props to Jalen Ramsey on that one.
Yeah, me too. Coming at number 9, we have the Cardinals.
Another 6 and 3 team in the same division as the Rams. The reason why they're not ahead of the Rams is easily because the Rams are just more of a complete team on both sides of the ball than the Cardinals. The Cardinals are struggling
The Cardinals'
a little bit on
defense is
defense.
They're growing. They have Patrick Peterson. They have rookie Isaiah Simmons.
Mhm.
They got some people. They have Buda Baker, but it's a growing.
That loss of Chandler
department.
Jones hurt them a lot
Yeah.
this season.
It's a growing department. They'll be a good team to watch out for next year. 10 was a hard one. It was between the Colts and Bills.
Mhm.
But coming at number 10, we have the Buffalo Bills.
The Bills have been playing insane. I hate to say it, being liking a team in the AFC East, but the Bills are playing very well. Of course, almost beating the Cardinals to a Hail Mary, and it's quite unfortunate, I'll tell you, for them. But Bills are still hot. I'm not going to count that game away from the Bills just because of how good they played. The defense, Jordan Poyer is playing out of his mind. He had another interception this week. He's playing amazing. Their whole defense is honestly playing amazing.
Yep. And honorable mentions, we talk about the Colts
Mhm.
and the Raiders. The Raiders were a top 10 team last week, but these two teams we could very well see making the top 10. Seattle is another one that did not make an appearance this week, but we could see those 3 teams coming back in. We could see the Ravens leaving the top 10, the Cardinals leaving the top 10. We could see the Titans leaving the top 10. We could well see all these teams really below the 3 spot get out of the top 10.
Mhm.
So by the end of the season.
Yeah, the biggest one was the Seahawks getting out of the top 10. A lot of people disagree
Yeah.
with that. But if
But that's what we think here.
If you gotta think about it. The terms. The Seattle's not looking really
They will
well.
not beat a good team.
Yeah, Russell Wilson is no longer cooking, and I just can't say them being a top 10 compared to all the teams we listed here. I don't. The only one I can see replace is the Titans, maybe because they're falling off, but we'll see by next week. But that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, like, subscribe, comment down below things topics you guys want to talk about, topics of the day or anything like that. But at the end, that's all for us.
See you guys next episode.